So tonight, we have both the intelligence community and Paul Manafort's defense team pushing back. So let's bring in John Sale, former federal prosecutor in the Southern District of New York, and John Yoo, the former Deputy Assistant Attorney General in George W. Bush's DOJ. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you.
Thanks.
All right, I'll have to be formal with you tonight since we have two Johns. And I will start with you, John Sale. I want to play something that former CIA Director John Brennan had to say tonight when he was asked about the comment that he made about whether or not the president had acted in a way nothing short of treasonous. Here's his clarification tonight.
And that's why I said it was nothing short of treasonous. I didn't mean that he committed treason, but it was a term that I used, nothing short of treasonous.
Well, you didn't mean that he committed treason, though.
I said it's nothing short of treasonous. That was the term that I used, yeah.
John Sale, can you break that down for me?
I think that's quite inflammatory, unnecessary, over the top. Those are the type of words that just incite passions rather than bring us together. The country is so polarized. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. But what I think that people who do not support the president are saying that taking away security clearance is jeopardizing the First Amendment, is retaliation. People who do support the president say that, hey, there's a new sheriff in town, and I think they like his strength and his determination. And I think the public outcry or lack of outcry is going to determine whether or not this is going to be acceptable.
Okay, so let's read a letter. This comes a statement from a number of top former officials, intelligence officials. They said this: we all agree that the president's action has nothing to do with who should and should not hold security clearances and everything to do with an attempt to stifle free speech. It goes on later to say this action is quite clearly a signal to other former and current officials. So, John Yoo, is taking away someone's security clearance the same thing as taking away their free speech?
No, it's actually important to keep in mind exactly what is being taken away here. The right to have a security clearance, the right to access classified information is not a constitutional right. It's a privilege, and it rests solely in the hands of the president. The president is the one who decides who gets access or who doesn't. It doesn't prevent Mr. Brennan or anyone else on this hypothetical list of people who might have their clearances revoked from speaking their mind. What people are worried about is that's a form of retaliation because for good or ill, if you have one of these security clearances, it makes you much more valuable in Washington. You can work on classified projects for different employers. To lose it is sort of a financial harm. I don't think the Supreme Court has ever upheld a case where someone has said, my losing a security clearance because of some illegitimate motive is actually a violation of my free speech rights. In fact, there were these cases from the 1950s and 60s where people said, you can't deny me security clearance just because of my beliefs because I'm a communist. And the courts, unfortunately, but this is what the law was, the court said, sorry, there's no, that's not a free speech violation because this is a national security decision. All
right, I want to get both of you very quickly to weigh in on this revelation today from the the Manafort trial, where Judge Ellis said today that he was the subject of threats and he would not release the juror's name or any information because he was worried for them too, and they were scared. He said he was surprised that the trial had incited this much emotion. I'll have you quickly both weigh in on that. John Sale first.
Well, it goes back to what I said. The country is so polarized, it inflames passions. But one of the things I want to say quickly about this trial is pundits have puzzled me. They've all said for weeks, why is Manafort not making a deal? Why is he not cooperating? We have lost sight of the fact that an indictment is only that. It's just an accusation, and he now has an absolute right to contest it. And guess what? The jury are the only ones who decide, and they haven't decided yet.
John Yoo?
I looked at the indictment. I looked at the evidence that's been presented in trial. I think Manafort's guilty. I think he committed tax evasion. Now, we can have a debate about whether he's been selectively prosecuted because who he is, and that normally most people wouldn't be prosecuted for something like this. But the guy was parking $15 million offshore, and he was bringing it in, not reporting it to the IRS. But the longer that the jury sits out and doesn't come back, the more favorable it's got to be for Manafort. It's more likely that there'll be a hung jury, and that will be a big blow to the Mueller investigation.
Well, they've got all weekend to think about it. Back to deliberations on Monday morning. John Sale, John Yoo, thank you both for weighing in.